Justice League of America number 7, written by Jeff Johns and Jeff Lemire, art by Doug Moncade. This is the next part of Trinity War. Last part was Justice League Dark, I believe. It was just everybody going off in different directions, but the main thing that happened was a tie-in to, I think it was Phantom Stranger. That was the thing that happened, and it's actually kind of required for this. But anyway, this one opens up on Lex Luthor reading a newspaper as he's surrounded by lawyers, and lawyers are like, Lex, buddy, we've done amazing things. We can get you out of here as a free man tonight. You will get your entire company back. You will get this wiped from your record. Like, you are totally free. What in the hell could you be reading that's more important than that right now? And we see the headline is Superman accused of manslaughter. And Lex is like, somebody's framing Superman, and it's not me. So I'm super interested. All of you guys are fired. I don't want to hear any of this right now. And they're like, what? But like, you could just walk out. Zep, fired. So they all leave, and Lex is left alone in there, and he's trying to figure out who did this to Superman. And all of a sudden, a mystical voice pops up behind him, and of course it's Pandora. And Lex is like, look, if you expect me to be impressed by you just appearing in this room, I've seen a man fly. So, and she's like, yeah, okay, so I'm Pandora. I have a box. I want to put the sins of the world away. This is my box. Touch my box. And then we cut to Washington, D.C., Argus, where the body of Dr. Light is being kept, and we see someone is sneaking her way in as everyone else is distracted with other stuff. For instance, Amanda Waller's like, yeah, no, I lost control of the Justice League of America. They went off and helped Superman. Like, this sucks. I have nothing to do now. But we see that the woman sneaking into the morgue is being led by, I think his name is like it's the dude running the Secret Society. They never say his name, save for like one issue like 7 weeks ago. But either way, this is Plastique. And she's like, hey, yeah, I'm at the body. I've set this bomb. We're good. So then we go back to Pittsburgh, where we meet Dr. Psycho, who has already at this point made numerous appearances in Superboy, and he doesn't look like this. So someone's going to have to square that circle pretty quick here. But regardless, Dr. Psycho's taking a bunch of people captive. And he's like, yeah, I can look into all your minds, and I've looked for someone who has no badness in them at all, and none of you are it. All of you are bad, so I'm going to use my psychic powers to force you to kill each other. And then all of a sudden, Martian Manhunter busts into his head, and it's just like, Dr. Psycho, we're here. And he's like, oh, no. And all of a sudden, the team that I want to say Batman's leading, but Batman's not here. So, oh, no, this is Superman's team. Superman's team busts in. Green Arrow, Metamorpho, Firestorm, the Atom, Question, Cyborg, and Martian Manhunter. That's all of them. They busted in there like, hey, we need to talk to you, Dr. Psycho. And so immediately they bust down. They save the people. They were strapped to bombs, and Firestorm just immediately dismantles them. Green Arrow tries to take out Dr. Psycho with a regular arrow, but it turns out Dr. Psycho was playing tricks, and it was actually Cyborg, and the arrow was explosive. So he fires that off at Cyborg. Of course it does nothing, because Cyborg is made of new god tech, and Dr. Psycho makes his way trying to escape. But soon, Superman, looking positively sick, just busts in through the wall and is like, Dr. Psycho, I think you did something to me. And he's like, oh, geez, I didn't do anything. You look awful. And so Superman passes out in front of Dr. Psycho. Dr. Psycho's like, wait a minute, this is my chance. And he starts going through Superman's mind, and he's like, all right, I got it. Smallville, your name is Clark Kent. And Martian Manhunter walks up behind him and goes, okay, you're going to have to forget that part right away. And so he immediately delves into his mind and is searching for answers as to what happened. So then back at the House of Mystery, the events of the Phantom Stranger tie-in happened, where Phantom Stranger took Batman and crew to try to interrogate Dr. Light's soul. But we see Simon Baz, Steve Trevor, Flash, all the rest of JLA is outside of the house trying to bust their way in. And Catwoman just steps up and is like, hey, boys, I talked to the house because clearly it's a magical house, and I just asked it if we could go inside. And she opens up the door, and it's like, all right, well, fine, we'll do it your way. So they make their way in. There's like a feast ready for them, and Trevor's like, don't trust that feast. And it's like, nah, the house is cool. We're just gonna trust it. And so they go to a mirror and they say, hey, can you tell us what happened to Phantom Stranger? And Phantom Stranger's like, hey, things did not go well for me in my book. I can't come back, but I have enough power to send Batman, Deadman, and Katana back. So they all bust through the mirror. So we go back to Superman's team. Martian Manhunter is interrogating Dr. Psycho. And basically he's like, yeah, the Secret Society sent me to Kahndaq that day. They said to await my orders. I never got any orders, and I never did anything to Superman. And now after the fact, I'm realizing that they sent me to Kahndaq to take the fall for Superman. Like, they knew that you would piece it together. So yeah, I didn't do anything. And everyone's like, all right, well, that's that. What do we do now? And Superman's like, okay, Wonder Woman was going after Pandora's box. Maybe she was right. We should probably meet up with her. And the Atom at this point chimes up and be like, guys, I have to confess something. I worked for Amanda Waller. She implanted me on the Justice League in order to spy on you because the Justice League of America was made to fight against the Justice League. And Metamorpho's like, oh no, you were our friend. How dare you do this? And she's like, I'm really sorry, but I swear I didn't want to hurt any of you. So at that point, Cyborg and Superman are like looking at the JLA of Green Arrow and Martian Manhunter, and they're like, "Oh, so you guys are liars?" And he's like, "Yeah, well, I mean, we didn't know about it until literally the time that we were going out to stop you. So sorry." And Martian Manhunter's like, "Okay, I kind of knew, but I have my own reasons. You got to trust me on that one." So at that point, everyone's like, Amanda Waller's being a little bit shady. How about we go check in on her? So then back in Lex Luthor's cell, Pandora holds out the box and is like, all right, go ahead, Lex. Save the world. And Lex is like, oh, this is going to feel good. And as he goes to reach for it, she gets yanked away from Lex by Wonder Woman's lasso, Aquaman, her whole team. And Wonder Woman's like, nah, we're taking the box. And Lex is like, if you want the box, I definitely want the box. So they start to fight over it. We see that Phantom Stranger somehow is still in the mirror saying, everyone, before I fade away into nothingness, we've all been tricked. The box is not the box. It's something else. And we see that the Superman's team goes after Waller. They start getting on her, trying to figure out what's going on. The Secret Society sets off the bomb, which explodes underneath Superman's team's feet, so they're all out for a while. Everyone sees Phantom Stranger is totally dead. Wonder Woman gets her hands on the box, and she turns evil. And that's where we leave off. I mean, it's good. It's a fine next part of the book, but I still don't feel like we're doing anything. It feels like this is less an event and more of the pieces being moved into place for the real event, which, no spoilers here because at this point it would have already been announced. Forever Evil is the real event. That's clearly what we're going towards here. Trinity War is just kind of a stepping stone where we're just saying, hey guys, turns out we are a connected universe and we can have these people talk to each other. So it's not bad, but it's like calling this an event within itself just feels dishonest at this point. Beyond that, Wonder Woman being evil, she looks fine. She just looks like normal Wonder Woman, but she's got an eye on her bandana, crown, whatever you want to call that, tiara, and she has a much cooler sword. But beyond that, I really have nothing else for it. Being an okay issue, not fantastic. Wanting to see how that Dr. Psycho thing is going to shake out, considering that character is not the same character. I'm going to give this one I'll just give it a flat 7. The art's still great. I think it looks great, but it's just an event full of, and we're building, and we never actually get anywhere.